So today it's important to understand the added value of the maintenance in a measurable way. So we had spoken about the added value of the maintenance, the importance of the maintenance, and many things. But now how to measure the value of the maintenance. To measure the value of the maintenance, we will look at very important KPI, not for the maintenance, it's for the overall equipment efficiency, or they used to call it the manufacturing process reliability. So we need to understand what do we mean by this overall equipment efficiency, or OEE. That's one of the very important KPIs that you will hear about. It's related to maintenance in one way, and it is related to the overall manufacturing process in another way. So how to understand the effect of maintenance in every time, on every element, on every item, on every part of the overall equipment efficiency, that's what we are going to understand in this lecture. To start with, we start with the definition of the overall equipment efficiency. It means the reliability of the manufacturing process. Reliability means how reliable is your manufacturing process. So reliability of the manufacturing process, it's a matrix depending on the availability as one item, and the performance efficiency, and the quality rate. So we are going to explain today every item of this and how it is calculated and how maintenance affects every item of them. The first one we are going to speak about will be the quality rate, okay? And then we'll go to the performance efficiency, and then we'll go to the availability. The reliability is the quality of being trustworthy for performing something very well, something consistency well. So what is important to us to make sure that we are doing very well, that's our production. So it is reliability of the manufacturing process. So we need to make sure that our manufacturing process is trustworthy. So why we need our manufacturing process to be trustworthy? We need our manufacturing process to be trustworthy just to make sure when we are tomorrow, we are going to plan our production tomorrow. We are going to invest in some equipment. We are going to invest in some marketing. We are going to make some deals. Tomorrow, our machines will be producing or not. So we need to make sure that's reliability, that's your trust your machines. Whether it will produce enough products, and will the products produced will be of good quality, accepted quality. We need to make sure that our manufacturing process is reliable. It should fulfill these three items. It should produce what we need tomorrow in enough quantities and in good quality. When we are going to speak about the quality rate, what we mean by the quality rate is this simple equation we can see here. Okay, that's your total units produced. You subtract from them the defected unit produced divided by the total units produced. Okay, or it is 1 minus defected units produced by the total units produced. The target, of course, of our quality is to make our quality rate of production is unity, is 1. Okay, so this means that defected products are 0. Practically wise, you cannot reach even in the medicine, which is the very critical item. There is an error of 3 per million or something like that. So you cannot assure that any production unit or any manufacturing or any process will result in a totally non-defective unit. This you cannot assure. But the problem is there are factors that increase the defected units or increase the defects in the produced unit. When you have defects in the produced units, either you need to scrap the produced unit, you need to recall the produced units to repair them if you discovered the manufacturing, or you need to compensate if you discovered the errors or the defects after the fact, or you need to increase your quality inspection. Your quality inspection is coming at a cost, so you need to increase the cost of the quality inspection, or you need to invest more in that in defects prevention cost. So that will be your increased cost due to failures that affects the quality. So, but how maintenance can affect the quality of the product? Let me take an example that we are having some dosing, some either chemical dosing, some additives dosing, or some chemicals you add to your product, some flavors, some colors, and so on. These flavors, colors, and chemicals you add or additives you add, you add them in a precise quantity. If the color increased, or mixing of the colors increased, if the flavor of we add increased or decreased, if the chemicals or additives, either it's substances like silicone, you are adding some silicone, you are adding something to your material, if it's increased or decreased, so you are producing a product, either it's off quality or either it's having a quality more than it is needed due to the additional additives you had added, and these additional additives are added at a cost. So that's one example from if you are using some dosing or weighing system to add some additives or to your equipment. So there's also the cutting system. For example, you are cutting paper. If the cutting process is not good, you will find the edge of the paper or trim the paper is not good. Either you do another cutting, you scrap part of the paper, or if you're having some producing some metals, you have the same problem. You are cutting the metals. Metals are usually produced in long pieces, and then you cut them into smaller pieces that's resellable. If you make wrong cutting, the edges will have a problem, or you will disrupt the complete production line. You will stop, and you need to scrap the complete material in your production line if you make wrong cutting, or the cutting is not performing, or the cutting is having a problem. So that's two items. Either you are dosing or you are cutting. If any problems of these two items, you will have a problem in your product. This problem might result in scrapping part of the product or decreasing the quality of the product, so it is sellable but at a lower price. Okay, that's part of our discussion. So another thing is, for example, that's the part of the quality we had discussed about. Another part we are going to speak about, that's the effect of the maintenance on the performance efficiency. So the performance efficiency is simply the actual produced rate. It's maintenance effect on the performance efficiency is coming from the definition of the performance efficiency itself. So the performance efficiency is simply you have an actual production rate, which is the current production rate you are producing now. So you are producing 10 pieces per hour, you are producing 10 pieces per minute, you are producing 100 meters per minute, per second, whatever is your rate of production. You compare this to the best production rate you had achieved before. So if you achieved some good production rate from before, why you are now producing at a lesser rate? That's not logical, because you are producing less quantities. Maybe you are doing this because you need less product, or there is a request for less product, but that's also, it's not logic, because all the time your machines and your production line is working, you are consuming some utilities like the electricity, gases, heating, whatever you are consuming. So if you are producing at a lower rate because you don't need all this amount of production in the market, even it's better to produce it in one day and then you stop for 2 or 3 days, then you continue to produce at a lower rate for 3 or 4 days. Okay, so that's the concept of the performance efficiency. But what makes our performance efficiency lesser, or what makes us produce at a lower rate? So we can think about it like when we are driving a car. When you are driving a car at 100 km per hour, if you don't feel comfortable or safe at this speed, or 150 km per hour, you need to go to a lower speed. For example, if you are driving usually at 100 and then you don't feel safe, so you go to 85 km per hour. So this means that you had decreased your speed at 15%. Then you will reach your destination in 15% time more. So it will take more time to reach your destination. It is the same with the production line. So if the production line produces 100 pieces per hour and you decreased its speed to 85 pieces per hour, this means that you had lost 15 pieces to be produced in this hour, and they will be produced in the next hour. If the total hours during the 24 hours production or 12 hours production, based on your shifts or how your plant is working, this means that during this slot of time you will produce less amount of production. Producing less amount of production will be converted because you have manpower working. So this means that the cost of the manpower, the cost of the utilities, the cost of the rental, whatever cost you are incurring, will be divided on less amount of pieces. So the cost per unit piece will be increased. That's very important. We'll have one special lecture for speaking about the cost. That's very important concept. You need to keep it in your mind. When you are working with maintenance, the cost the organization is incurring to the reduced speed of production. Okay, similarly, if we are having some cooling pumps that is not delivering enough cooling, then you need to reduce your heating So you will do the production at a less heat. So either you will decrease the rate of production, or you will change the quality of the production, and both will affect the profitability of your organization. So what happens if the equipment maintained perfectly without any defects? So you will produce at rate. You have an option to produce more, and you have a trust of the system. The operators and the planners and the marketers, everyone, and even the market is having a trust. That's a very important item. If you return back also to the quality, if there are problem with the quality of the product, this creates a problem with the reputation of the organization or the company itself. Also, another thing which is very important, that the sudden failures due to maintenance decreases the trust of the operators in the system, the trust of the maintainers in the system, and produces a lot of losses either in the quality or in the quantity in the material itself. So you either use the quality or the material itself. The last item we had spoken about, if you remember from the beginning, the overall equipment efficiency, we will speak about the quality rate. This means that we are producing defected quantities or producing the production efficiency. So we are producing at a less rate. The last item of the overall equipment efficiency we are going to speak about is the maintenance effect on availability. What is the availability? Simple. So if you consider that these are your 24 hours for production or 24 hours during the day, usually you don't plan that you are going to produce for 24 hours. During this time, you cut a slot of time which is not for production. This slot of time which is not for production is 1 hour, for example. This 1 hour you will make some preparation, you will make some maintenance, and you expect also that there will be another hour for failures. So you know by default that there will be some problems in the preparation, some problems of machines and so on, and those problems in the machines and so on will take you more 1 hour. So I planned 1 hour will be lost for the preparation, 1 hour will be lost for maintenance and failures or problems and so on, and then I have more 22 hours that I'm going to use in the production. So if the unplanned failures or unplanned maintenance decreased also took 2 hours from my planning, okay, now I'm having planned 20 hours, not 22 hours. So if I have 20 hours only available for production and not 22 hours, this means that I'm going to produce only for 20 hours. This means that I'm going to produce less amount of production in the same time. This means that I'm going to increase my cost. So the availability is the available time for production. If I decreased the available time for production due to failures or due to extra maintenance I need to do, or re-maintenance or redoing the maintenance, this means that I'm decreasing the availability of my plant and availability of your production. I hope you had got insights about the effect of the maintenance on the overall equipment efficiency, which is a very important KPI in calculating the reliability of the manufacturing process. Reliability of the manufacturing process means that your manufacturing process is reliable. You can trust it to produce the best quality and the amount of production you need at time without any thinking that it's doubtable. Maintenance is easy. Maintenance is reliable. Make sure to convey this image to your working place, that maintenance is something useful, something is adding value to the working place. Either it's for the quality, for the production unit, and for the profitability. See you in the coming videos.